So we are live and back with our good friend Steve. You can't catch him, you can only chase him. Steve Chase with Run For laugh y'all, because these jokes don't write themselves, okay? And Steve, you brought a friend, so ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, run for your life. Mr. Steve Chase.
Hi folks. Well, it's hard to follow that introduction there. It kind of intimidates me. Anyways, I'm Steve, and today we have another local PBO Run Club member, Ann Chapman. Hi, Ann.
Hi.
And we're going to start today's segment off on really the beginning. To get started in running, What do you need, what do you know, what gear you need, how do you do it, and where you can do it. PBO Run Club is where you can do it, so we'll cover that. Anyways, hi, Ann. I was going to ask you first just to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us as much or as little as you'd like about yourself, and
Okay.
So we can get to know you.
All right. I'm Ann Chapman. I also go by Annie, either one. You can call me Fred. I don't really care, as long as I know you're talking to me.
Or Thelma from Thelma.
Thelma, yeah, lots of aliases, but not for any nefarious reasons. I just wanted to share a little bit about my running journey that hopefully it will. I've been inspired by people in the Run Club to keep going and to grow in that. And I thought maybe we would inspire some other people to do the same. And the first thing I want to say is I am not fast. I am not ever going to win any races. I am not doing anything that's going to bring me accolades, but just getting out there. I started out just walking and then doing a little jogging, walking, jogging about a year ago. And I have run on and off during my life, but never as consistently as I have this year. And I really think that is because of the camaraderie and the group that we have at Pittsburgh Run Club. Or, if you live in another area, just join a run club. And the biggest advice I have for anybody starting out is start at your own pace.
Absolutely.
Go as slow as you need to feel comfortable, and just push yourself a little bit. But that way it's fun and it's sustainable, and I'm shocked at how far I have come in a year. And it's because I'm just enjoying myself and not trying to.
But you never miss a run.
Yeah.
And she's being modest here, folks. She started back running only 6 months, pretty much from zero. 6 months later, she ran her first ultra marathon. That is past the 26.2 mile mark, and she completed that. So if she's not steady, she makes up for it by never stopping.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think, to anything.
And
right?
our run club is absolutely no peer pressure, nothing competitive. The only people we're running against is ourselves, if we have that goal of improving or whatever. What first got you started in running, Ann?
Well, I think I always liked to run. I mean, even in high school when, they'd say, oh, go run a mile. I kind of liked it. I wasn't, most kids, this was just in gym class. I never really had a chance to run track or anything like that. I ran some track in middle school, and I remember I liked that, so that probably led to me liking to run in gym class in high school. And I rode my bike quite a bit in high school, but I wasn't a runner. So I've always led a life that the things I like to do, you have to be fit to do.
Exactly.
So I've always done something. But, then having kids, getting older, certainly I've gone through.
Life gets in the way.
Absolutely. I've gone through phases in my life where I was, heavier than I am now and not in good shape at all. So I have had that experience in middle age to have to work back.
And you hit on something. We do have a lot of younger people in our run club, and then a lot of people on my side of the equation. And I think one of the biggest attractions for me in running, and you hit on bicycle riding, which a lot of us do to break up our run, lower some impact, or recover from injuries. That's the two things that let us at our age kind of feel like kids again. I mean, what's better than running or riding your bike? And I think we all want to do that into old age. And most of us probably can if we stay consistent and be smart and don't overdo it.
And that is the biggest message I would love to get across today is that, I'm 57. I started running consistently at 56. And, I started out just walking, jogging. I am not offended when people call me a jogger. I know I'm slow. I don't care. I'm out here. I'm moving. Some days, if I don't feel like running, I'll just say, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and move for an hour.
That's it.
And I will tell you, almost every time I'm running faster miles than I ever thought I could, which still isn't fast. That's like 10.5-minute miles. But for me, that's fast. Faster than when I started a year ago.
That's a funny thing about running. I think a lot of times we go out and absolutely do not feel like running. But by the time you get out and make yourself do it, your mindset, everything has changed 100%. And there's just nothing better.
It is, and I'll start out like, okay, just go move for an hour. You don't feel like it, it's fine. Just even if you walk for an hour, you're just going to go out and move for an hour. But I will tell you, I feel like it's like, those, I'm dating myself again, when we were kids, you would put a quarter in a slot to ride an electric pump or not electric, whatever.
I did that just last week. No.
Yeah, battery pony outside of, the grocery store. I feel like with me, once I get going, it's like somebody put a quarter in that slot, and I'm going to run 4 miles. That I might run 5, but I'm definitely going to do 4 or more once I get going.
Exactly. And on our weekly pub runs is beer at the end.
Yeah,
whether
which is
it's
fun.
Real beer or non-alcoholic beer. It's nice knowing there's a nice cold beer after a long, hot run.
It is. Yep, exactly. And the non-alcoholic beers are great if you're not a drinker. Or seltzer or whatever, but the camaraderie and just that nice cold refreshing beverage is a big part of what keeps you coming back and keeps you motivated.
We'll touch on that a little bit, our weekly pub runs, which we do 2 or 3 of them. We have some pop-up runs and then some races a lot of people do. Let's talk a little bit more about your experience with the PBO Run Club. I mean, did you know anybody in the Run Club at all before you showed up to your first one?
I did not. Yeah. And how I found it was through BMC. They had it listed, and then they connected me to you.
Oh, I see.
And then I sent you a text message.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you were like, oh, just come.
Yep, that's BMC Brewery, which we run now Monday nights. It's kind of faded a little bit, but Monday nights we run at BMC, and we'll cover that schedule in a little bit here. Yeah,
no, and there's some new groups starting on Monday nights, so we're trying to build that, and it's a beautiful night to run out there. So I had been walking for maybe a month and a half.
Before your first run?
Before I came, the first time I came out. And, the first run I did was at House of Hops on a Tuesday. And Tall Paul, sorry, we have 2 Pauls, just very graciously ran with me, even though I was super slow, and he's really tall. So for him to run, you can't see me, but I'm a maybe barely 5'3". And that's a stretch. So for me, reasonably out of shape, for him to run with me, I know it was probably almost painful to run that slow, but he did, and that was part of what. That's been my been my experience at Pittsburgh Run Club. It's just great people.
If somebody's new, somebody always pair up with them or run with them or let them know where the course is, so you're not out there on your own. And then as you show up at the Run Club runs, people learn each other's paces, and sometimes they'll run alone, sometimes they'll pair up with other people, sometimes they'll run in a big group. Whatever you feel comfortable with is what we end up doing. So usually on a typical night, we'll have 3, 4, 5 different little groups taken off to do different mileage, different courses, road or trail. So there's a little something, or walking even. Yep. And sometimes even bicycles. There's several people out there riding their bikes. So a little bit for everybody.
Exactly. And if you're just coming out to walk, nobody is judging. Nobody is judging your pace. Everybody's just happy to have people out in the fresh air, getting exercise at whatever pace is comfortable. But I will tell you, I started out even, I'm never, like I said, going to win any races, but I went from, barely being able to run a 12-minute mile to now, I can run a 10.5-minute mile pretty comfortably. that's not sprinting. So
and you've even branched off into trail running now.
Yes,
so
and
you
trail
used to only run on the road.
That's right. And I've been doing trails, which is super fun and so beautiful.
That's a good thing about the run club. You start seeing other people that you think maybe I can do that. Maybe I can run that long distance. One lady in our club talked, I think it was 9 of us, into our very first ultra marathon, and without that kind of support, I don't think I would have even ventured into that pain cave. But then you realize, I can do that.
And I want to say also, for people like me that are just trying to enjoy themselves and get exercise, you can stretch. Like I did that 50K, and it's 31-ish miles. But I looked at it like I can walk whenever I need to walk.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not, it took me a little over 7 hours, but I could have done it faster, but my choice, and there were people in our group who really pushed themselves and ran it really fast.
Right. But the finish was the goal.
Right. But for those of us who just want to go out there and just see, hey, can I do this? Yep. There's nothing wrong with that. Like there's no judgment that it took me 2 hours longer than other people in the group.
Yeah, we're all runners. Just some of us are running further or faster than others, but every one of us, or even the walkers, we're all runners.
Oh, yeah, and you can walk.
Running a little slower, that's all.
Exactly. You could walk the 50K, and that would be fine, too.
Exactly. One thing I do want to bring up, if anybody has any questions for this show, we're going to try to go through this like a runner that just started out. Where do you start, which we're covering today? Where do you go next? After you've done lots of pub runs, I'm sure some of you will want to sign up for some races, a 5K, then a 10K, maybe a marathon for some people. We'll go through that whole exact process, stretching, walking before and after a cool-down run after a run, all the things you want, what gear you need, what hydration you need. Mm-hmm. Our club has no problem with hydration. You'll learn that. Any questions you have, you can post on the Pittsburgh Running Club Facebook page. We're working on a Instagram link also. So if you have any questions at all about running, whether it's beginner running, what gear you need, racing, pub runs. If you're an experienced runner, you might have some questions, or you might have some information you'd like to share. So feel free to post it, and we'll try to address it on each one of our shows here.
Give the schedule of the runs, if you would.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll go through the schedule now. So Monday, Ann, we have BMC Brewery in the Beverage District in Pittsburgh, 5 o'clock. Is that correct?
5 o'clock. It's been more like 5:15 lately, just because one of the participants, she can't get there till 5:15.
Right.
So it's 5 o'clock, but, if I know you're coming, we'll wait.
And
if it's 5:30, it's
exactly.
5, whatever, and and there's a trail option around the plant,
right.
Or we sometimes run up Fire Tower and back, but there's out and back, whatever distance, whether you want to walk or run, we can accommodate.
And we also have a group text messaging thing we use, so if somebody's running a few minutes late, usually the main pack will even wait on them. So, or if you can't make it, or if you want to, sometimes somebody will have a pop-up run and just text the group, hey, I'm running so-and-so place tomorrow, anybody want to join? So it's a good way we all communicate with each other. So that's Monday night BMC, 5 to 5:15, or even later. Once you know the route or the route you want to run, we all meet up for refreshments afterwards by 5:30, 6 o'clock. The next scheduled run is usually our big run Tuesday nights at the House of Hops in Pittsburgh, over near the Chatham Park and the high school. And that's the same thing, 5 o'clock, Ann?
Yeah, 5. I usually, especially with welcoming new people, try to make sure that there's somebody there at 5 and at 5:30.
Right.
Because I know some people, can't get there till 5:30.
And sometimes when you show up at 5, people are still deciding, do I want to run the trail tonight? Do I want to run to the water tower? Some people want to run the 5 miles each way all the way to the fire tower. So usually there's some milling around, breaking up into different groups depending on how far you want to run. So if you show up anytime from 5 to 5:30, there'll be a group of people you can go out with and come back. And also some of us older guys called the silverbacks, we like to take off at 4:45 and we have a little route we run, and that way we're usually back by the time the regular runners get back in. So that's Tuesday night, House of Hops, 5 o'clock. And then Thursday, which is tonight, we run same thing, 5 o'clock, isn't it, for the most part?
Yeah, the biggest group leaves at 5 on Thursday night. We've got a consistent group that leaves at 5. But if anybody ever messages me and gives me a time that they're going to come, I'll meet them the first time just to explain the routes, tell them, who runs what pace, and
exactly
introduce them to the people that run, because there's other people that run different paces who, if they know somebody else is coming of that pace, they'll wait.
Oh, yeah.
They won't necessarily go at 5 if they can't, like I do on Monday night.
Yep.
So it's a little bit
fluid.
Like, it's fluid, and we're flexible.
It's like herding chickens. We always get it done. That's Thursday, same thing, 5 o'clock at Thirsty Skulls Tap Room in Pittsburgh, which just opened up a few months ago. Great place to run, and the owners, at least 2 of them are runners. So
yeah, and
that's going to be a great place to run.
They run with us, and you can just run the loop, run or walk the loop around CCCC from there. Their parking lot,
right behind the tap room, we have the CCC track, and it's also a circuit course where you can do push-ups, pull-ups, balance exercises. There's a lot of little things around that nice little paved trail that you can run that or walk it and never even leave the neighborhood if that's what you want. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So that's our regular pub runs. And then sometimes we'll have, like I said earlier, pop-up runs where one member will just have an idea to go do. Aaron wants to do a Sunday morning run here we're going to do here pretty soon. Or somebody will just, a few weeks ago, we had a run at Breakaway Cafe breakfast, and we did some Briar Chapel trails. So that's pretty cool. And I think it was last week or the week before, you did a run out at the Greenway in Siler City. We have a lot of members that live out that way, so we try to get out that way and run a little bit also.
Yeah, we try to do at least 2 pop-up runs in Siler City a month. Like every other week in Siler City. Usually on a Wednesday night, but I think they're going to start another running group, specifically Siler City running group.
Oh, very cool.
On Tuesday nights from Thirsty Skull in Siler City as well.
Good, yeah.
So if you live on that side of the county, we keep in touch. We've got, I live in Siler and work in Pittsburgh, so I straddle both.
And some of our longtime members, Wade has been running every Sunday at 7 o'clock at CCC. And they've been doing that, I think, for like a dozen years or more. And Saturdays, the same guys meet up out at the Siler City Fire Department and have a pretty nice rolling hills country run out there. So there's plenty of opportunities. If you miss a pub run, there's weekend runs, pop-up runs, and then, of course, races, which will be posted on the Facebook page as they come up. What else, Ann? Can you think of anything else?
No, I think the biggest thing, anybody who's interested in coming out, walking, learning more, message us.
Yes, we want new people to come out.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an experienced runner. You don't even have to be an experienced walker. If you just want to start a walking program,
give them the Facebook page.
Just go to the Facebook page. Our schedule's there. Any pop-up runs will be on there. Pittsburgh Running Club Facebook page. But you don't need any gear. You can walk just with a pair of comfortable pants and a shirt and an old beat-up pair of sneakers, and you'll be fine. Yep. Another good thing about the Run Club is as some of the runners get more experience, get more demanding and challenging races or courses, they're always shedding the older gear. I know Ann's wearing a watch that one of the members gave her so she can track her runs, and I'm wearing one a member sold to me for almost pennies on the dollar so I could start monitoring my runs and races. And people have given shoes away, and so we kind of support each other. And on that vein, I also wanted to cover last week, Aaron came out for, I think, his first pub run, and we took a picture of a big old mountain of used shoes that we all collected. But that turned into something most of us were even unaware of, that Durham Running, what is it called?
I'm not remember.
I wrote it down here. Oh, Bull City Running.
That's it, yep.
Bull City Running will collect used and discarded running shoes that are still perfectly good to to wear for people that are in need, and they donate it to a local shelter. So we've got a big mountain of shoes I've collected and bagged up and tied together and kind of dusted them off, and they'll go to Bull City Running tomorrow when I go to Durham to donate blood. So if anybody has some old running shoes they want to discard and pass on, bring them to the Tuesday night House of Hops and get them to me or any member, and we'll get them recycled back to people that can really use them. So that's one good thing I wanted to cover.
Yeah, and just getting started can be the hardest thing, but this group really helps. I've started running so many times in my life and just gotten busy with life and let it go and not kept up with it. But this, and I've never run consistently 5-6 days a week like I do now. And it is because of the group and the camaraderie, and then you really start to feel better and you enjoy it. It's not... Running and exercise shouldn't be punishment. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be fun.
People joke that our sport is other sports' punishment, but running in itself is one of the best things you can do. And Ann's right. I'm paraphrasing here, but one of the quotes I like to remember is, "It's not the workout that gets us up early in the morning. It's the special bonds and friendship that we make at a run club like this that gets us out of bed in the morning, that people expect us to show up."
Right.
And knowing that these people we told, I'll be there in the morning, it's very hard to sleep in.
It is. And it's mutually beneficial because, like we said earlier, once you get out there, you're so glad you did and you feel great.
Without a doubt.
I mean, there are runs that the first mile I question my sanity, but I will tell you, if I push through that first mile, almost 100% of the time, by mile 2, definitely by mile 3 and 4, I feel great, and I'm so glad I was out there.
I don't think any runner's ever been in a bad mood or been depressed while they're running.
No.
Something happens when you're moving your body like that.
And
being outside.
And do it, and I also want to emphasize, just do it at your own pace. Nobody cares if you're running 15-minute miles.
Exactly.
There is nothing wrong with a 15-minute mile. I don't care if it's a 20-minute mile. It's still a mile. Just get out there, and we will support you and be there and champion you. I mean, I'm one of the slowest members of this club, but that's because you guys are all really fast. But there's always people that are going to support you, hang back like Paul did that first day for me and has done many times since then, to make you, show you the routes, and give you that push that you need to do something that you really will enjoy.
I've been running for years, and I'm coming off an injury here, and I was kind of dragging, running to the fire tower one night, and some folks ran all the way to the fire tower, came back, and then ran with me back up there. So, and I know the way. It's just, when somebody's willing to turn around and alter their run for your sake, that's hard to ignore.
And like the BMC, whenever there's change, there's always a transition period, and it takes time to build it back up. So, the BMC run on Monday night is new. So the first 2 weeks I ran by myself on Monday night, but that's how it starts.
Right.
But then the third week, I had a new member come out, and it was so fun, and I know it will build from there, and we'll have a good group. And Monday night is just beautiful there at the plant.
Yeah.
There's no traffic.
I think
you can run in and out.
That's a discount beer night too, isn't it?
It's what?
They have discounted beer on Monday.
Oh, and they do, and they have $5 pints at
go.
BMC. It's a beautiful night to be out, and there's no traffic. You can just run the beautiful. It's not a long trail, but it's beautiful. A beautiful loop through.
Right at the beverage district.
Exactly, right through the
Well, we
plant
set off
itself.
for the fire tower, which is almost a 5-mile run out and back, but there's plenty places where you can turn around at 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, and all. And I like the out and back courses because then you see. It's the only chance I get to see the really fast runners coming back. If we run a loop course, I just never see those folks until we get back to the pub.
Yeah, same.
So that's pretty cool about an out and back course.
No, and I can remember the first week. I came to House of Hops, and then I came out to BMC and did that out and back. And I remember going up the fire tower and I only made it to, like, I can in my mind know how far up I made it the first time.
That's a pretty
and
good
then I was
hill.
like, okay,
Yeah.
that's all I could do. But now I can run up and down it,
Yeah.
and it feels great. So
I've
it's-
walked that hill so many times,
Yeah.
but it's a good feeling
I
when you
will
can
s-
stop running it the first time.
And I'll still walk in the steepest
Absolutely.
part some nights because
Yeah.
that's where I'm at that night, and that's okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
How much time do we have left, Aaron?
Hey, man, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Well, let's wrap this up. If you have any questions, like I said, send it to our Pittsburgh Running Club Facebook page, and we'll do our best to answer you. Just come on out and check us out at any one of the pub runs. If you can only remember one, remember Tuesday night, House of Hops, 5 o'clock. If you show up to one of them, you'll know all the other runs, all the other info. You don't even have to run or walk. Just come out and check it out if you're curious. So last thing I wanted to say is I like quotes. So one of my, and I might be paraphrasing here, is we don't run to add days to our lives. We run to add life to our days.
It's a great one.
It's a good one.
Song's called Forgiveness Divine. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, sister.
You bet. And
Yeah.
Sister Ann, Pevo Radio, you made it through. Song's called Forgiveness Divine.